guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a little while since I have uploaded a video. Obviously over the Christmas period, the New Year period, a lot of things go on. Also, I am currently 17 weeks pregnant, so that's a thing. Very excited for that. But anyway, in today's video I thought I would show you my Hoya collection, so let's go. So I thought I would start off with the most humble Hoya of all, the Hoya carnosa. This baby I got off a friend as a plant trade, as a 2-leaf cutting, and it is growing so well for me. It flowered a lot this year, which was exciting. I have just currently cut the top off. She was wild, she was growing everywhere. And if you know Hoya species, they tend to grow like really long vines with not a lot on them, so I like to keep this nice and compact inside. This one has beautiful splashy leaf variegation, which I absolutely love, and I just have it growing on this little trellis. Okay, my next Hoya I thought I would show you is my Hoya shepherdii. This one I bought as a hanging plot from the nursery. It has grown like crazy. It flowered for me this year. I did have this in my greenhouse though, which I have now moved inside, and it is just covered in peduncles like every little way along these vines is little peduncles. So this guy flowered for me really, really well. I love the weird spaghetti-like leaf shape. That's a really interesting Hoya. My next Hoya is another fairly common Hoya here in New Zealand. This is a Hoya pubicalyx. It just has really nice, long, slender leaves. Again, it has lots of sort of splashy variegation, which I love. This one is relatively new, so it hasn't flowered for me yet, but that's okay. Really easy care, well-growing Hoya. Definitely recommend these. Okay, so my next Hoya is a relatively new one that I acquired. This is the Hoya carnosa krinkle 8. I got this as a cutting, which I bought off Trade Me, which is like the equivalent of eBay, I guess, if you're overseas. This one has a whopping big peduncle on it, but it hasn't flowered for me yet. As I said, it's only a new one. Another common Hoya we have here in New Zealand is the Hoya australis. This one just has sort of plain fuzzy leaves on the underside. I got this as a cutting, as a plant trade as well, and it is growing pretty well. I must say, like 90% of my Hoyas are from cuttings, from plant trades or plant swaps, or me just buying them online. And I do sort of all have them in one spot. So if you've seen in my previous video where I built my plant shelf on that set of windows in my room, that is where all my Hoya are living, on that plant shelf. So they don't get any direct sun, but they do get sort of filtered light from both sides all day. My next Hoya is a Hoya serpens. I really love this guy. He is so funky. I love the tiny little furry leaves. They are just so cute. And again, another really fast grower. This one has had mealybugs on occasion. I've sort of seen 1 or 2 on it, so it's sort of in constant watch, but it's looking pretty good, looking pretty healthy. And yeah, I really like this one. My next Hoya is this. This is a Hoya longifolia, which I got as a plant trade again. Do love a good plant trade. I don't have a lot to say about this. It has grown quite a bit since I got it. Yeah. This cutting here is a Hoya crimson princess. Again, another plant trade. A lot of these I actually got plant trades off people I met on Instagram. So Instagram is amazing for this sort of thing. It has grown really well for me. It is a very slow grower. So it's put out these 2 new leaves at the front here and this little shoot up here since I've had it, and I've had it for probably maybe about a year now. So yeah, it is a bit of a slow grower, but it is very, very pretty. This is the Hoya Crimson Queen. So unlike this one, the variegation is on the inside of the leaves, and with the Crimson Queen, the variegation is on the outside of the leaves. But for some reason, my one has decided to grow a whole stem of all white leaves. Generally, in terms of plant care, full white leaves aren't ideal as they don't produce any chlorophyll, so any energy for the plant. But this is actually growing really well and it hasn't sort of suffered from it. So I am just going to leave it for the time being, and if it starts to be detrimental to the plant, I will cut it off and hope it'll re-sprout from somewhere else. But in the meantime, it is a very, very pretty looking plant. My next funky little Hoya is this guy. This is a Hoya, starts with P, can't pronounce it, but I'll put it on the screen. I got this as, actually I bought this one off Trade Me again as a little plug, little plant plug. Don't really have a lot to say about it. It's growing pretty well for me. But yeah, that's just a funky looking little Hoya. This is a Hoya linearis, which I got as a tiny cutting of my darling friend. It was probably about to where my finger is, and it has grown so, so well. It is in this tiny, tiny little egg cup pot, and it is still pushing out tons of new growth, which is exciting. I've often thought of cutting and propagating this and replanting it in the top so it sort of spills over a bit more, but I'm too scared to do that, so I have just left it, and I probably will just leave it for the time being. I might see if I can buy some more at a later date and sort of plant it up into a bigger pot, but for now it's doing well. This is a Hoya Kerrii or heartleaf Hoya. I love this. It is so stunning. It has been a very, very slow grower for me. It has been a very touch and go plant for me as well. I managed to acquire 2 cuttings of this lovely girl. One of them succumbed to root rot. This one almost did, but I managed to salvage it. It has lost a lot of leaves in its little time of growing, so it has 3 leaves and a new one on the way. I think the trick with most Hoya is when they're growing new leaves, like, don't touch them. Just leave them. Put them in isolation. Do not touch them, because otherwise their leaves tend to fall off. I learnt that the hard way multiple times. And speaking of that, this is the plant I learnt the hard way with. So this is a Hoya obovata. I got it as a cutting with these 3 beautiful leaves here. It has since grown these 2 little munted leaves, which I touched and they grew munted. And this big beautiful leaf, which I didn't touch, but has grown a little bit wavy and funky, but that's fine. And it is growing a new shoot. Its 2 leaves fell off. I don't know why. I didn't touch them. I just left it, and it has a peduncle here, which hasn't flowered, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, I really like this one too. I can't wait for them to grow big. My next Hoya I have is this little Hoya lacunosa. This is another recent addition to my collection, which I got as a lovely plant trade, and it is growing great guns. Like, this whole stem has grown in the time I've had it, and these 2 little leaves at the bottom here have also grown, so it's a very good grower and it looks pretty. Like, its leaves are very thin and very shiny, and I really like it. The next Hoya I have here is a Hoya fungi, which I love the veining. I don't know how well it's coming off on camera, but these have beautiful veining on the leaves. They've got a really, really furry underside, which I really like. Yeah, it's the veins that sort of got me on this one, and the leaves grow really big. So the leaves on this haven't grown too big yet, but I'm hoping they will start to grow bigger. But I really like this one as well. Okay, 3 more to go. So this little baby here, this is also a Hoya compacta, but this is a Hoya compacta Hindu rope, which, yeah, it's got a really funky, it grows in like a rope pattern, which I guess it gets its name from. Its leaves are all curly and funky, and I really like this. The only issue I've had with this is it has occasionally got mealybugs, and they are very hard to get rid of. Out of all these curly funky leaves, they're hard to see. And also this has that little splashy variegation on it, which makes you think that it's mealybug, but it ain't. But yeah, this one's growing really well for me as well. When I first got it, it was these 2 little leaves here as a cutting, and it has grown this baby since I've had it. So this one actually gets some direct sun, so the top of it is looking a little bit yellow. That's just a bit of sun stress, but other than that, it is growing very, very well for me. And also love this thrifted pot that I got it in. It was a hanging pot, but I didn't want it hanging. So second to last is this Hoya, let's see if I can pronounce it, nicholsoniae, Nicholson, I don't know, but it's got a new leaf there. I did recently just cut it, and it is growing another long leafless little tentacle, but that's okay. I really like, again, the veining in these leaves. I don't know how well it'll come up on camera, but yeah, I really like this one. Just another simple Hoya, easy care, looks nice on the plant shelf. Okay, this last Hoya has to be probably my favorite one in my collection for many reasons. 1, how it grows. 2, its leaf shape. And 3, its beautiful leaf veining. I mean, it is so, so gorgeous. So this is a Hoya polyneura, or a fishtail Hoya. Obviously it gets its name from the way its leaves grow. It looks like a fishtail or a mermaid tail. It is absolutely stunning. I really, really love this one. I got this one again as a 2-leaf cutting, and it has grown so well for me. I did have a much bigger plant, which I had given to my mum. And yeah, I've had to put this crystal egg in the top of the pot because it is obviously all the weight's on this side and it wants to fall off the shelf, and this just helps stabilize it a bit more. Actually, I forgot to mention I do have one more Hoya, a Hoya cinnamonifolia or something like that. I will put a picture and its proper name up here, but this is currently rooting. It's just come out of like a week in the mail when it was supposed to be overnight, so it is just chilling, it's relaxing in a tub of water. So yeah, I have that in my collection as well, and I am beyond excited to see that one grow. Whew, man, I forgot how much it takes to talk on camera. So that concludes my Hoya collection. Let me know in the comments below which ones are your favorite. There are so many beautiful Hoyas that I see overseas that I would absolutely love, but we just don't have here in New Zealand yet, so I'm pretty happy with my collection. They are super easy to look after. I pretty much treat them all the same, and they all seem to be doing really well. None of them are in direct sun, apart from the compacta, which gets a little bit of direct sun, but not a heck of a lot, and they are all doing great. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for subscribing. I have like 600 subscribers now. That blows my mind. Stay at home, guys. Bye.